Here's another video to add to my playlist False Prophets. Today we're going to be exposing, and I'm sure many of you have probably already seen things on him in the past how many years. A man that says he's Jesus Christ. He's an Australian man, he's from Australia, and he claims that he is Jesus Christ. And his partner, his wife, believes that she is Mary Magdalene. So let's get into this video. I want to show you this video, and then once again we're going to read more Bible verses about Jesus warning us about people coming in his name, saying that they are Jesus Christ. Many false prophets rising up, misleading many. This is once again another false prophet who claims that he is Jesus Christ, and he is not. Watch.
Tonight, a worldwide investigation into the evil and destructive ways of a self-proclaimed Messiah, a charismatic Australian whose devoted disciples believe he walked this earth 2,000 years ago. We commissioned the Reverend David Millikan, one of the world's foremost experts on cults, to head up our special investigation that's been 10 months in the making. Tonight, we'll take you inside the Messiah's isolated Queensland compound, where he's preparing his followers, including children, for the apocalyptic end of the world.
The idea that the group is coming together in a community and that Miller is developing a compound, in my opinion, is ominous, because only the most extreme cults isolate themselves in a compound. Jonestown or a Waco Davidian group, which were two groups that ended tragically in mass suicide. This is when groups become the most extreme, because the leader controls everything.
The leader is this man.
My name's Alan John Miller, but I'm actually Jesus. I remember all of the events of my crucifixion. I understood what was going on. I understood the reason for my death.
And he's collecting disciples. Miller has convinced them that they were with him at his crucifixion.
Just went to get the spike and smash it into his hands, and just so much love that came from him, so I couldn't do it.
It was excruciating to watch basically the annihilation of the person that I love the most.
Whenever I think about him now, I just cry. I'm starting to have a soul, like an emotional realisation of who he is.
I'm on the way to Mergen in country Queensland to 2 days of teachings by Yeshua ben Joseph, or Jesus. It's a gathering of the faithful from around the world.
Well, welcome along. I'm Jesus, this is Mary. And so what we want to do today is talk about addictions and bribery and fear, threats and blackmail. I can feel that many of you are still in addictions with regard to your development towards God. I've got all these emotional injuries. I will feed them with my truth. These things are not going to go away from you just by you getting baptised.
To me, these words sound like rehashed New Age pop psychology. But for these people, they burn with the light of divine truth.
Let yourself feel the disillusionment you feel, the disillusionment about the search.
What's happening here is AJ is talking about emotions. Now, most religions are suspicious of emotions. They see faith as essentially a thing of the mind. But emotions take us to the heart of AJ's teachings. What he's doing is setting up a sort of spiral where people get dragged down and down and down, and people are are asked to plumb the depths of emotions from which many of them can never escape. One of his techniques to draw people in is to demand that they find emotional trauma in their family history.
Let yourself feel what it was like to have to shut yourself down so much just to please your mother. Because that's what she wants. That's what she wants you to do. Shut you down so much. And she was giving you all of these things, but she wants a heap of things in return from you, and that feels bad to you. So allow yourself to connect with that. That's it. And as you connect to that, you can start really connecting. That's it. And as you connect, that's how much rage is there. You see, this is the childhood rage now. You see that? That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. And this is the childhood rage that's still there. Let yourself feel it. You feel that? Right. Because a lot of times they can
And children are being caught in Miller's web as well. Before he became Jesus, Miller was a Jehovah's Witness pastor, but fell out with the church over an incident with a prostitute. I first met him and Mary during the Brisbane floods. For many years, Miller made his money out of land development and a computer business. But now, he believes he holds the salvation of the world in his hands. Along with a growing number of disciples who are buying properties next to him, he lives outside Kingaroy in Queensland.
My first memories were having nails driven through my feet, and those memories began when I was just over 2 years of age. So I didn't put them together as, oh, I'm Jesus from that. And so I just sort of slotted it into the back of my head and went merrily on with my life until such a time as I started having a lot more specific memories about my life, which happened when I was 33, really.
Is it true that your mother tried to commit you to a psychiatric ward?
Yes, it is true. Yeah. And so, and these are things that I knew would occur. This is why I went, what? I've got to, I'm having all these memories of who I am, and I realise all of these different things coming up, and I also think about my future, and I go, boy, do I really want to bite this off again? My mum and dad in the first century followed me around, telling everybody I was crazy for most of my ministry. So my father didn't even change his mind until my passing in the first century.
So can you show me the nail marks in your hands?
Of course not, because it's not the same body.
Miller spreads the word via the web, YouTube, and seminars here and around the world. He claims there are 100,000 of his DVDs in circulation. He calls his message the Divine Love Path, which offers oneness with God through AJ's teachings.
How long have you been doing the path?
I'm just looking at everyone.
Hold it right up.
Praying for God's love and courage and strength, because I'm feeling a lot of fear right now.
Two and a bit months.
It's torn my life to pieces. I've lost my wife. I've lost my home. I've lost my family. It's been tremendously devastating. And yet he's calling this divine love. If Miller walked into the room right now, the way I feel right at this point, initially I'd have him up against the wall. And I'd look at him right in his eye. And I'd rip the throat right out.
Miller's reach is international. In San Francisco, I met Dugan McVerk, whose wife, Jennifer, fell under Miller's spell. Tell me about Jen before she knew AJ.
Yeah, Jennifer was one of the most effervescent and lively spirits put into a body that I'd ever seen, with some of the most amazing connections that I've ever had with another human being.
So in that relationship, what happened for yourself is it just triggered more of that childhood hurt that you felt with men.
Jennifer was introduced to Miller's teaching by two Australian friends and became captivated. She would watch and listen up to 5 hours a day.
Every day there would be more downloads, and it was continuous. I watched Jen over the course of a month or so basically become so absorbed in it that it seemed to be the whole focus for her. It was everything that she would be listening to. She came to me with tears and said to me, Dugan, he really is Jesus. AJ really is Jesus.
Unbeknown to her husband, she began donating money to Miller and communicating by phone and email. Miller raised doubts about whether her husband was her soulmate.
Apparently, there's some requirement for soulmates, according to AJ Miller, which brought into our relationship the innuendo of doubt as to whether or not she and I were soulmates. It was as if there was a third party sitting right between us all the time. And I was watching Jennifer basically just disappear.
Within 5 months, Jennifer left Dugan and planned to come to Australia to be with Miller. Desperate, Dugan contacted Rick Ross, America's leading culty programmer, to stage an intervention.
When Dugan first contacted me, he was very worried, and he was hoping that somehow through an intervention they might reconcile.
Jennifer, AJ Miller is not Jesus.
I explained to Jennifer that after meeting many, many cult leaders that claimed to be Jesus or God, how could she be sure that Miller was in fact Jesus? And all she could respond is, the teachings make me feel good.
It's given me joy.
And there was a kind of euphoria that she experienced from listening to the tapes. And in a sense, this is a key to the way that Miller quells their critical thinking, induces the kind of self-hypnosis that I've seen. They put their headphones on and they listen to downloads for hours on end. And I think this has a mind-numbing effect on them.
I am out of here.
The intervention failed.
Basically, Miller sets himself up as God. He is Jesus Christ. He is the God-man. And if you disagree with him, you disagree with God. So if you have a spouse or a family member and they are critical of Miller, they have come against God. And therefore, they are not spiritually right for you. Or as Miller might say, they are not your soulmate.
Yesterday morning, I left my husband after 30 years. And
Yesterday morning?
yes. And I knew that it was something I needed to do because I was in an unloving situation, and I knew that I no longer really loved him, and so I wasn't living in truth.
Yeah.
But it was still very hard, and it was still very sad.
Yeah.
I've talked to so many people around you who are married, some of them married for many years, and I asked them the question, how long have you been married? Some people say 25 years. I say, is your wife your soulmate?
And I say, I don't know.
They say, I don't know.
And that's okay. Like,
It's not okay, AJ.
why?
That puts tremendous pressure. Marriages are breaking up around you because of this teaching about soulmates.
It will become very obvious to you whether the person you're currently with is your soulmate or not. And this is why it's so good to be in your current relationship and work through the issues until you get to the point where you know that this isn't right. And when you know it isn't right, obviously that is the time for you to leave. My teachings are all about love, developing relationship.
No, they're not, AJ.
They are.
They're not a lot of your teachings are about addictions, about emotions, about fear, about struggle.
No,
You take people into a sort of holocaust, an emotional holocaust.
Yeah, I can't agree with that, David. I'm sorry.
Well, that's what I see.
When you start opening this soulmate side of you, what will happen is every other attraction that you've ever had will start to die.
Do you think you'll ever stop missing it?
No. I mean, I didn't find the person I wanted to marry until I was 56 years old. And in my heart, no, I'll never get over missing her. I'm really, 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 really amazed by just the stunning arrogance that this man has to claim what he's claiming. I mean, he's about as, how does one say? I don't think he would know Jesus if Jesus came and bit him in the arse.
Tell me about what you think about AJ. Who is AJ to you?
He's a bringer of truth. I feel that he is the Messiah. He's the messenger of God's truth to help us wake up.
Yes, he is. He is Jesus.
And you've just discovered that?
I've only discovered that, yes. And through AJ's teachings, that's how we come to God.
AJ, do you always tell the truth?
I always attempt to, as far as I know it at that time, yes.
So, did you walk on water?
No?
Did you raise Lazarus from the dead?
Yes.
So are you saying that you did some sort of miracles, but not other sorts?
There's a few miracles in the Bible I didn't do, but the rest you did?
The
rest I did.
Like?
But most of the miracles involving recovery of people's sight, the recovery of their limbs. But the walking on water is one of the ones I didn't do.
Yes.
Another one that I didn't do was turning the water into wine.
You didn't? So you couldn't give us a nice little
You want a job now, do you? No. No.
Matthew 24, 4-5. And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. So remember what I shown you about this Australian man claiming he's Jesus in the video? Jesus says, and Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. That Australian guy has fulfilled this verse, and he's deceiving all of his followers. Okay? He is a cult leader. People need to understand the difference between a believer in Jesus Christ, pointing people to the gospel of Jesus and end times and just studying the Bible. And they need to understand the difference between that and an occult leader. The two are not the same, and I will be making a video covering that in the future, because Christians have been accused of being in occults, which is not true. But it looks like we are doing the same things. We are not. Now, the people that believe that he is Jesus Christ don't know anything about Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ has clearly told them in the Bible that many will come saying that they are Christ and deceive many. So the people that believe that the Australian guy is Jesus Christ are being deceived by a false prophet. They need to learn the teachings of Jesus. Oh, they're all crying on there. Oh, he really is Jesus. What are you talking about? The return of Jesus is like a lightning flash from the east to the west. Take a look at this verse. Matthew 24:26-27. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. You were told in this verse, if they tell you that Jesus is in the chamber, or he's in a house, or he's in a field, or he's in the desert, as they're doing, these false prophets, and they're gathering these followers into these places, you were told if they say he's here, or if they say he's there, do not go out and do not believe it. Because we're told how Jesus comes. He comes as lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so also the coming of the Son of Man be. Did Australian Jesus do that? Lightning from the east to the west? No, he didn't. False prophet. We are told time and time again to watch out for false prophets. Okay? Over and over and over again. Like also in this verse. Matthew 24:24-25. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. So Jesus is telling us here that there's going to arise false Christs. Australian Jesus Christ is claiming he's Jesus Christ. False Christ. Deceiving many, his followers. They're crying on there and they claim that he's Jesus. Oh, it's him. It really is him. It's him. I remember when they put the nails through his hands. I remember when they crucified him. It's him. It really is him. If you knew the words of Jesus Christ, the actual real Jesus Christ, okay, if you knew his teachings in the Bible, you would know that the man in front of you is not Jesus Christ. Because time and time and time again, he tells us that these people will come saying that they are Jesus Christ. You're told not to go out. When they say he's here, do not go out. When they say, he's in this secret chamber, he's in this room, he's in this place, do not believe it. Because Jesus comes on the clouds with great power and glory, and everyone on the earth sees it. And lightning comes from the east to the west. And there's a massive earthquake that literally shakes the whole entire earth. You will not be mistaken by the return of Jesus Christ. You saying he's Jesus, you are nutcases. You don't understand what you're on about. If you read the Bible and you understood what Jesus told you, you would know that the man in front of you is a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's a false prophet claiming that he is Christ. For false prophets will arise and mislead many. Okay? Many shall come in my name saying that I am the Christ. That is happening all over the place. Okay? And we're told time and time and time and time again that false prophets will come. Here's another verse. Matthew 7:15. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. He's come to you in sheep's clothing, but he's an inward ravenous wolf. Because in it, if you watched it all, I think in it, I put in there the part where there was a man that was married to this woman and his marriage broke down because of what he was teaching his wife online. Okay? So he was teaching his wife that he was Jesus Christ, and she went under a spell. He started teaching his wife about soulmates, and started getting in her head saying, oh, do you love your partner? You don't love your partner. You don't love your husband. You're not a soulmate. You need to reevaluate. teaching them these things, it broke up their marriage. Okay? That is an occult leader that leads people to their destruction and don't lead them to the one true God, Jesus. He's in the way of the true God, Jesus, in the gospel. He's placed himself as it, there in the way. Okay? He is a false prophet. And he's destroyed marriages and he's destroying lives. Okay? And that's why us Christians that you accuse of being the same in an occult, because we have followers, subscribers, and we teach about Jesus, you think we're the same. We're not the same. We're teaching everybody about the gospel of Jesus and how they can be saved and enter the kingdom that's coming. Yeah, and they subscribe and follow us on our channels because they want to see our future videos and content about Jesus and the gospel and end times things that are going on. This guy, this Australian Jesus, isn't even teaching the gospel. He hasn't said anything about the Bible. He's not read one single Bible verse out. Through the whole thing, not one Bible verse. Not mentioned, not one single Bible verse, because I guarantee you now, he doesn't even know the Bible. He's just come out and said, I'm Jesus. And they've all believed him. If you knew the Bible, and you knew Jesus, and you know who God is, you'd know who he is. You'd know that these are false prophets. And there is another one, okay, in Siberia, I believe, or somewhere, in Russia. There's another one claiming he's Jesus. He goes in the woods and he wears the white gown and he's got his hair, long hair and beard and he's all that. And all the people come out, he's touching their heads and the children, he's acting like Jesus Christ, claiming he's Jesus sitting on a throne in the woods. I'm telling you, there was one in Russia as well, okay? Which is going to be the next video that I'm going to do, okay? Tomorrow. So look out for that one. Because we've already discussed in this playlist, if you go on my playlist of false prophets, we've already exposed the Mahdi, the fake Mahdi that's rising in the UK. We've exposed him. Now today we've exposed the Australian fake Jesus. And tomorrow we're going to expose the other fake Jesus in Russia. That's 3 false prophets there coming, claiming they're messengers and claiming they're Jesus Christ. False prophets will arise in the last days and mislead many. And they're popping up left, right and centre everywhere. Alright? So you've got to be careful. But those of you that are subscribed to my channel, that listen to my videos, you're in good hands. Because I will only tell you the truth. And that truth is Jesus Christ is the only way. And he's not a man down here on this planet now. He's coming back. He ascended into heaven. Death, burial, resurrection. That's the truth. That's your salvation. That's how you're saved. That's the truth. He died for your sins and he's coming back in the sky. Literally. Until then, all these people that are teaching you these things, you need to know they're false prophets. They're not real believers. They're not educated in the Bible and they don't even know the gospel. Okay, they're hindering you from knowing the truth and stopping you from resting in the grace of Jesus Christ. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't want to make it too long. Here's the gospel. And then until the next one, which will be another false prophet we expose, I'll see you then. 1 Corinthians 15:3-4, the gospel of your salvation. For I delivered to you first of all that which I also received, that Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures, and that he was buried, and that he rose again the 3rd day according to the Scriptures. Romans 3:23-24 reads, For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, being justified freely by his grace through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus. Ephesians 2:8-9 reads, For by grace are you saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Hebrews 9:28, so Christ, having been offered once to bear the sins of many, will appear a second time, not to deal with sin, but to save those who are eagerly waiting for him.